What if I told you the biggest enemy in your life is not your boss, not your past, not even bad luck? It's you. Every dream you've let slip away, every chance you didn't take, every moment you knew you could do better but didn't. It wasn't the world holding you back. It was the mountain inside you. But here's the truth. That mountain isn't there to stop you. It's there to show you what you're capable of. In this journey, we'll climb it together, uncovering why we sabotage ourselves, how to break free from fear, how to stop living on repeat, and finally master the life you were meant for. Because once you conquer this mountain, nothing and no one will ever be able to stop you again. Some people think the greatest challenges in life are the ones we can see. The steep climb of a career, the loss of a loved one, the weight of responsibility. But the truth is, the hardest mountain you will ever face isn't made of rock or snow. It's made of your fears, your doubts, your old wounds, and the voice in your head that whispers, "You can't." Every single day, without even realizing it, you might be standing in your own way, saying no to opportunities you secretly want, sabotaging relationships you deeply care about, avoiding the very steps that could change your life forever. And here's the most painful part. You often convince yourself that it's the world stopping you. You blame bad timing, bad luck, or other people's choices. But deep down, a part of you knows it's you. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself you'd change, only to fall back into the same patterns? How many dreams have you put on hold because you were waiting for the right time that never came? That's the mountain. Not out there, in here. And this mountain doesn't block your path. It is your path. Every fear you avoid, every truth you ignore, every piece of yourself you've been afraid to face. That's the climb. But here's the twist. This mountain isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. It's the part of life that tests whether you're willing to fight for the version of yourself you've always wanted to become. Because when you finally decide to face it, to step into discomfort, to challenge your own excuses, you begin to see something incredible. You realize you've been carrying the strength to climb it all along. And the moment you take that first step toward it, instead of away from it, is the moment your life begins to change forever. This journey isn't going to be easy. You'll have days when you feel like giving up, when every step feels heavier than the last. But if you keep moving forward, if you keep pushing past the voice that tells you to quit, you'll reach the top. And from there, you won't just see the world differently, you'll see yourself differently. That's what facing the mountain within is all about. And once you do, no other mountain will ever scare you again. If you've ever wondered why you stop yourself right when things start going well, you're not alone. We all have moments where we're on the edge of a breakthrough, and then we pull back. We procrastinate, we make excuses, we pick fights, we disappear. And we tell ourselves little stories like, "I'm just tired," or "It's not the right time." But deep down, it's not about timing. It's about fear. Fear is clever. It doesn't always shout. Sometimes it disguises itself as comfort, convincing you that staying where you are is safer than chasing what you want. Sometimes it wears the mask of perfectionism, telling you, "Don't start until it's perfect," knowing you'll never feel ready. And sometimes fear is born from old wounds, moments in your past when you failed, when you were judged, when you were hurt. And your mind decided that avoiding risk was the only way to stay safe. The truth is, our brains are wired to protect us from pain, even if it means keeping us small. So when a new opportunity appears, a job, a relationship, a dream, your mind scans for danger. And if it senses the slightest chance of rejection, embarrassment, or failure, it will create reasons to hold back. It will whisper, "You're not good enough. You'll never make it. People will laugh." And the worst part? You'll believe it. This is why self-sabotage feels so real, because your mind isn't trying to destroy you. It's trying to protect you. It's like an overprotective guard, keeping you locked in the castle, convincing you that the world outside is too dangerous. But here's the problem. That safety is an illusion. Because while you're busy avoiding the possibility of pain, you're also avoiding the possibility of growth, love, and success. Breaking this pattern means seeing the trick for what it is, realizing that fear's voice isn't a prophecy, it's just an echo from the past. Your comfort zone isn't a sanctuary, it's a cage. And every day you choose to stay in it, you teach your mind that small and safe is better than bold and alive. But the moment you start stepping outside, you begin teaching yourself something entirely different, that you are stronger than your fears and that your future is worth the risk. Self-sabotage doesn't always crash into your life like a storm. Most of the time, it slips in quietly, hiding inside the little choices you make every day. You might think you're just being cautious, just protecting yourself, but over time, those choices form a pattern, and patterns become your life. Look at your relationships. Do you pull away the moment things start to feel too real? Do you find reasons to doubt people before they can hurt you? That's not always intuition. Sometimes it's fear wearing the mask of wisdom. You tell yourself, I'm protecting my heart, but in truth, you might just be building walls so high that no one can ever reach you. Look at your work. Do you procrastinate on projects you care about? Do you take on too much until you're burned out, then quit before you can fail? Do you avoid opportunities because they feel too big for you? That's not always logic. Sometimes it's the mind trying to control the outcome by never truly trying. Because if you don't give your all, you can always say it wasn't really my best. And in your personal growth, do you set big goals, then abandon them the moment progress gets uncomfortable? Do you jump from one plan to another, chasing excitement, but avoiding consistency? That's not always exploration. Sometimes it's escape, because staying in one place long enough forces you to face your limits, and facing limits can be terrifying. Here's the thing. Not all pulling back is bad. Sometimes it's self-preservation. If something truly threatens your well-being, stepping away is healthy. But there's a dangerous line where self-preservation turns into self-destruction. The difference? Self-preservation protects you so you can heal and move forward. Self-destruction protects you from pain, but also from growth, from love, from the life you want. The first step to breaking this cycle is to notice it, to catch yourself in the act. When you feel that urge to run, ask yourself, am I keeping myself safe or am I keeping myself small? Because the moment you can answer that honestly, you hold the power to choose differently. And every different choice becomes a crack in the wall you've built around your potential. One day, those cracks will let the light in. And when they do, you'll finally see the life that's been waiting for you all along. Every destructive pattern in your life has a root. And more often than not, that root isn't laziness, lack of talent, or bad luck. It's pain. Not the kind you see in the moment, but the kind you've buried so deep that you've almost forgotten it's there. Almost. Because even if you can't see it, you feel it. In the hesitation before you speak your truth. In the way your chest tightens before taking a risk. In the quiet voice that says, don't try. It's safer this way. Maybe it was a heartbreak that taught you love hurts more than it heals. Maybe it was a childhood where your dreams were laughed at until you learned to stop sharing them. Maybe it was a moment of failure so heavy that you swore you'd never let yourself feel that humiliation again. These moments leave scars, but unlike the ones on your skin, these scars live inside your mind and shape every decision you make. Here's the danger. When you suppress emotions instead of facing them, they don't go away. They hide. And from the shadows, they influence you. Fear of rejection becomes the reason you never ask. Fear of failure becomes the reason you never start. Fear of judgment becomes the reason you never stand out. Slowly, you begin to live a smaller version of your life, convinced it's all you're capable of. But there's a way out, and it starts with emotional intelligence. This isn't about controlling your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about learning to listen to them without letting them drive the car. It's about asking yourself, why am I really afraid right now? And being honest with the answer. It's about recognizing that your emotions are signals, not shackles. They're trying to tell you something about what you need to heal. When you can look your pain in the eye instead of running from it, you take away its power to control you. The mountain you've been climbing suddenly doesn't feel as heavy, because you're no longer carrying the extra weight of everything you've avoided. This is self-mastery, not the absence of fear, but the courage to feel it, understand it, and keep climbing anyway. And once you learn to do that, you become unstoppable. Not because life stops being hard, but because you stop being afraid to live it. Comfort feels good, almost too good. It's the soft bed you don't want to leave in the morning, the familiar routine you could follow with your eyes closed, the safe conversations that never challenge you. It feels like peace, but sometimes it's really a trap. Because the comfort zone doesn't just keep you safe, it keeps you small. Our brains are wired to seek safety. Thousands of years ago, this instinct kept us alive, but today it often works against us. That's why you find yourself sticking to the same habits, the same circles, the same limits. Not because they're exciting, but because they're familiar, and the more familiar they are, the harder it feels to leave. The problem is, nothing grows in the comfort zone. Skills don't improve there. Dreams don't come true there. You do, not evolve there. In fact, the longer you stay in it, the more your mind convinces you that it's the only place you belong. And before you know it, you're not just avoiding discomfort, you're avoiding life. Here's the twist. Discomfort is where transformation lives. Every moment you've ever been proud of, every breakthrough you've ever had, every part of yourself you admire, it was born in discomfort. The first time you stood on a stage, the first time you spoke your mind, the first time you risked failing to try something great. None of it felt safe in the moment. But looking back, those were the steps that changed everything. The key is to rewire your brain, to stop treating discomfort as a warning sign and start treating it as a green light. That's what growth feels like. Your heart races? That's possibility knocking. Your hands shake? That's the edge of your comfort zone, begging you to step over. Your mind screams, "This is too much." That's the sign you're exactly where you need to be. If you want a life that's bigger than the one you have now, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Not once, not sometimes, every single day. Because the more you do it, the less fear owns you. And one day you'll look back and realize your comfort zone wasn't a safe place at all. It was a cage. And you were always holding the key. There comes a moment in life when you have to decide who you are going to be. The person who waits for the world to change, or the person who changes their world. Most people don't even realize they're living as victims. They've built a story in their mind. I can't because of my past. I can't because of them. I can't because life isn't fair. And maybe that story feels true. But the truth is, as long as you believe it, you hand over the pen that writes your life to someone else. Being a victim is easy because it gives you someone to blame. You can point to circumstances, people, bad luck, and you never have to look in the mirror. But here's the brutal reality. When you give away responsibility, you give away your power. You wait for apologies that never come. You wait for perfect conditions that never arrive. You wait, and your life waits with you. Shifting from victim to creator is like flipping a switch in your soul. It's the moment you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do about it?" It's understanding that while you can't control everything, you can control something, and that something is always enough to take the next step. Radical responsibility means you own your choices, your habits, your reactions, even when life is unfair. It's not about blaming yourself for everything. It's about refusing to hand control of your future to anything outside of you. When you take accountability, you stop being at the mercy of the storm, and you start steering the ship. This shift changes everything. Because when you're the creator, failure is not the end, it's feedback. Setbacks aren't proof you're doomed, they're proof you're trying. And every day, you write a new page in a story where you are not the victim, but the hero. Life doesn't hand you a guarantee, it hands you choices. And the moment you choose to step out of the victim's shadow and into the creator's light, the mountain you're climbing will stop feeling impossible. You'll realize the power to reach the top was in your hands all along. Every single day, there's a voice in your head telling you who you are. Sometimes it's gentle, encouraging, and full of belief. But for many of us, it's critical, doubtful, and unforgiving. And here's the scary part. That voice doesn't just comment on your life, it creates it. If you tell yourself you're unlucky, you'll stop looking for opportunities. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll avoid challenges that could prove otherwise. If you tell yourself you always fail, you'll sabotage success before it even begins. This isn't magic. It's how the brain works. Your mind listens to your words, your beliefs, and your thoughts, and then shapes your reality to match them. Most of these beliefs aren't even yours. They're echoes of what someone else once told you. A careless comment from a teacher, a cruel joke from a friend, a harsh word from a parent. You heard it enough times that it became the truth in your mind. But here's the good news. Your mind can be rewritten. It starts with awareness. Listen to the way you speak to yourself when no one is listening. Catch the moment you say, "I can't," and replace it with, "I'm learning." Catch the moment you think, "I'm not good enough," and replace it with, "I'm getting better every day." At first, it feels like lying. But over time, your brain adapts, because repetition is how you reprogram your subconscious. You see, the subconscious doesn't care if what you tell it is true. It cares if you tell it often enough. And when you begin to flood it with new beliefs, new possibilities, and new identities, you'll start making choices that align with them. That's when the magic happens. Rewriting your internal narrative isn't about pretending life is perfect. It's about refusing to let the old story dictate your future. You are not the person your fears describe. You are not the sum of your past mistakes. You are the author now. And every word you choose to believe will become the world you live in. Life will test you. It will push you to your limits, strip away your comfort, and sometimes leave you standing in the middle of chaos, wondering if you can take one more step. Most people believe strength is about avoiding those moments, but real strength is built inside them. Emotional resilience is not about being unshakable. It's about learning how to bend without breaking. Fear, rejection, and uncertainty are not signs you're failing. They're signs you're alive. Fear means you're stepping into something that matters. Rejection means you had the courage to put yourself out there. Uncertainty means you're moving into uncharted territory, which is the only place real growth happens. The key isn't to avoid these feelings, but to face them without collapsing. It starts with understanding that setbacks aren't the enemy. They're the training ground. Every disappointment teaches you patience. Every failure teaches you strategy. Every no makes you stronger for the next yes. If you can shift your perspective from "this is happening to me" to "this is happening for me," you turn every blow into a lesson and every wound into wisdom. Think of resilience like a muscle. The first time life knocks you down, it feels impossible to get up. But the more you rise, the stronger you become. One day you realize you're not just surviving the storms, you're navigating them with a steady hand, even finding power in the winds that once scared you. The truth is, the mountain doesn't get smaller. The climb doesn't suddenly get easy. What changes is you. You stop being the person who crumbles at the first sign of trouble, and you become the person who says, "I've been here before. I know I can make it through." And that unshakable trust in yourself, that's resilience. That's the kind of strength no one can take away from you. Imagine a life where you are the captain of your own ship, steering through the calm seas and the wild storms with unshakable confidence. That's what creating a life of self-mastery feels like. It's not about controlling every event or avoiding challenges. It's about developing the inner strength and daily discipline to remain steady no matter what waves hit you. Self-mastery begins with habits that fuel your growth, the kind that align with your goals and values, even when no one is watching. This means setting boundaries that protect your time, energy, and focus from distractions and toxic influences. It's about choosing discipline over comfort, because comfort won't get you to your dreams. Consistency will. Self-reliance becomes your foundation. You stop depending on external motivation and start drawing power from within. You understand that showing up for yourself daily, whether you feel like it or not, builds the mental and emotional muscle that makes you unstoppable. In the end, self-mastery is a lifelong journey, a practice of becoming the best version of yourself, one choice at a time. You're no longer tossed around by life's unpredictability. You stand strong, focused, and resilient, living on your own terms, in full command of your destiny. Living beyond the mountain is not about standing at the peak with arms raised, as if the journey is over. No, the summit is only the halfway point. Once you've transformed, once you've conquered the fears and weaknesses that once held you down, a new path begins. This is the part where your story becomes a light for others still climbing in the dark. Your scars, your lessons, your victories. They're not trophies to keep hidden. They're maps for the lost. hope for the broken. But here's the truth. Staying at the top requires as much discipline as reaching it. You must keep moving, keep growing, keep sharpening yourself. Because if you stop, the same gravity that once pulled you down will try again. The fire you've built must be fed daily, with discipline, gratitude, humility, and courage. And the more you give back, the more your own strength multiplies. The real victory is not that you made it. It's that you kept going, kept inspiring, kept living with purpose. Beyond the mountain, there's no finish line, only endless horizons. And now, you're no longer just a climber. You've become a guide. Life is not about avoiding challenges, but learning to dance with them. We all face fear, rejection, and uncertainty, and sometimes it feels like the weight of it could crush us. But true emotional resilience is built when we learn to stand tall, even when the storm rages. Every setback can become a stepping stone if we choose to see it as a lesson rather than a defeat. It's in those moments of struggle that our true strength is forged. Self-mastery doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of small, consistent actions, daily habits, and discipline. Setting boundaries, staying focused, and relying on your own inner strength create a foundation that no external force can shake. And once you climb your personal mountain, you realize the journey doesn't end, it transforms. You carry your growth forward, inspiring others with your example, proving that change is possible, and showing that mastery is a lifelong path, not a single destination. In my view, this is the essence of living a powerful life, turning challenges into growth, mastering yourself, and using your transformation to light the way for others. It's about building a life where fear no longer controls you, where discipline fuels your days, and where your journey inspires someone else to start theirs. If this message resonated with you, remember, you have the strength to face anything. Keep moving forward, keep building yourself, and never forget the impact your growth can have on the world around you. We have so many more life-changing lessons waiting for you, so dive into our other videos. They're designed to guide, inspire, and empower you on your journey. If you found value here, like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss the next step in your transformation. Your next breakthrough could be just one video away.